the Noble Eightfold Path, the Buddha's treatment plan. A friend of mine once said to me, and I think about this a lot, I know what's wrong with me. I've known for years. The problem is, knowing hasn't fixed it. She's right, of course. We all know this feeling. You can read every book about anxiety and still be anxious. You can understand exactly why your relationship keeps falling apart and still keep falling into it. You can know intellectually that doom scrolling at midnight is making you miserable, and there you'll be at midnight scrolling. Knowing is not the same as changing, and anybody who has tried to change anything important about themselves has bumped into this wall hard. The Buddha understood this. He understood that diagnosing the problem, which is what the Four Noble Truths do, is only half the work. The other half is what to actually do day after day in an ordinary human body with an ordinary human mind, so that knowing becomes doing and doing becomes being. And the answer he gave is what we're going to spend the next half hour with, the Noble Eightfold Path. Welcome back. Tea, cushion, comfortable chair, get yourself settled. Today we walk the path. If you're new here, very brief context. In our last episode, we went through the Four Noble Truths, which is the Buddha's diagnosis of the human condition. There is a kind of suffering, dukkha, woven through life. It has a cause, which is a particular grasping quality in the mind. That cause can be released, and there is a way of living that helps release it. That fourth truth, the way of living, is what we're unpacking today, the Eightfold Path. Now, I want to start by clearing away two common misunderstandings about this teaching, because if you don't clear them away, the whole thing reads wrong. Misunderstanding number one, the Eightfold Path is not 8 steps. You do not graduate from one and proceed to the next like levels in a video game. The classical image is a wheel, 8 spokes, all holding up the same rim. You work on all of them in a kind of weave throughout your life. Your honesty supports your meditation. Your meditation supports your understanding. Your understanding supports your honesty. They prop each other up. Lose one spoke, and the wheel starts to wobble. Misunderstanding number 2, the word translated as right, sama in Pali, is not correct in a moral school teacher sense. It's not right as in not wrong, get this right or you fail the quiz. A better translation is skillful, or wise, or well aimed, like an arrow that lands on target. So right speech is skillful speech. Right livelihood is wise livelihood. The Buddha is not wagging his finger at you. He is very practically saying, here are the 8 areas of life where if you bring some skill and attention, things start to come unstuck. 2 more housekeeping notes, and then we'll start. The 8 factors are traditionally grouped into 3 categories: wisdom, how you see and what you're aiming for; ethics, how you behave toward yourself and others; and mental training, what you do with your attention. We're going to walk through all 3. And finally, please do not try to do all 8 at once. That's not how this works. By the end of the episode, I'll suggest one place to begin. Take that one, let it teach you. The rest will come. Okay, let's walk. The wisdom group, right view and right intention. The first grouping is wisdom, and there are 2 factors in it, right view and right intention. Right view is, in some ways, the most important one because everything else is downstream of it. Right view is how you understand reality, what you think life actually is, what you think causes happiness, what you think causes suffering. You already have a view, everybody does. You walk into every situation with assumptions about how the universe works. If I just get the promotion, I'll be okay. If they would only stop being like that, I could relax. I am the kind of person who can't handle silence. Good things don't happen to people like me. These are views, they run your life from the basement. Most people never look at them. Right view, in the Buddha's sense, is gently checking those views against reality. It's noticing, wait, when I did get the promotion, was I okay? When they did stop being like that, did I relax? Or did the mind just find a new thing to chase, a new thing to fix. The classical formulation of right view is, at minimum, taking the first three noble truths seriously, understanding that grasping causes suffering, understanding that everything you can grasp is changing, understanding that the self you think you're protecting is not as fixed and solid as it feels. That last one, by the way, is the one that takes the longest. We'll do a whole episode on it. For today, just plant this seed. Right view is the willingness to question the story you've been telling yourself about who you are and what you need. I'll be honest, when I first encountered this, I thought right view was about agreeing with Buddhist doctrine, like a checklist of beliefs. It is not. It's not, do you believe in karma? Do you believe in rebirth? Sign here. Right view is the ongoing practice of seeing things as they actually are, instead of as your fears and hopes want them to be. It's a verb. It's something you do daily. The second factor is right intention, sometimes translated as right resolve or right thought. This is the orientation of the heart. What are you actually aiming at deep down? The Buddha said right intention has three flavors: the intention of renunciation, letting go, opening the hand, not grasping so hard; the intention of goodwill, wishing well to others instead of wishing them harm; and the intention of non-cruelty, actively wanting beings to be free from suffering, including yourself. Now here's the test, and it's a humbling test. Sit quietly for 60 seconds and ask, what am I actually pointed at right now in my life? Not what would I say at a dinner party. What am I actually pointed at? For most of us, on most days, the honest answer is something like getting through this, looking good, being safe, not being embarrassed, winning the thing. Those are not wicked aims, but they are small. And the Buddha is asking, what if you pointed your life at something bigger? What if you pointed it at less harm, more kindness, more freedom? Here's a small but powerful practice. Each morning before you touch your phone, which you should not be touching first thing in the morning, but that's another episode, set an intention for the day. Just one sentence. Today, I will try to be useful. Or today, I will speak less than I listen. Or today, I will not lie, even the small ones. Watch what happens. The intention bends the day. The arrow, well aimed, finds the target. That's wisdom, view and intention, how you see and what you're pointed at. The ethics group, speech, action, livelihood. The next three factors are the ethics group, and I want to head off something at the pass. And when modern people hear Buddhist ethics, they often picture a long list of rules, mostly about what you can't do, and a vague sense that the Buddha would have disapproved of just about everything fun. That is not what this is. Buddhist ethics are not about being a good person in a points on the scoreboard sense. They are deeply practical. The Buddha noticed something obvious but profound. If you spend all day lying to people, cheating people, hurting people, you cannot then come home, sit on a cushion, and have a peaceful mind. The mind doesn't separate like that. The actions of the day come back to sit with you. So the ethics aren't about pleasing a deity. They're about not poisoning your own well. Let's walk through them. Right speech. Out of all 8 factors, this one is, in my experience, the one that produces the fastest visible change in a person's life. The Buddha gave 4 guidelines. Don't lie, don't speak harshly, don't gossip, or speak divisively about people behind their backs, and don't fill silence with idle, meaningless chatter, which in the modern world includes most of what we type. Let me give you the test. For the next 24 hours, just notice every time you're about to say or type something and ask 3 questions. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If the answer to any of those is no, just don't say it. Don't replace it with something better. Just be silent. I will tell you what will happen. You will say a lot less. You will feel like a weirdo at parties for about a week. And then after that week, people will start telling you they feel calmer around you. They will start to confide in you. You will sleep better, because most of what we say, and I include myself in this, I am not above it, most of what we say is just noise, habit, filler, anxiety leaking out of the mouth. Take it away, and suddenly there's room in the day for something else. Right action. The classical formulation is 3 things: don't kill, don't take what isn't given, and don't engage in sexual misconduct. Don't kill is fairly obvious. The deeper practice is to extend non-harm, non-violence across all your encounters, including with insects, including with people you find annoying, including with yourself. There's more violence in the average internal monologue than people realize. Listen to how you talk to yourself when you make a mistake. Would you talk to a friend that way? Right. Action begins with not killing the part of you that's just trying to figure things out. Don't take what isn't given includes the obvious. Don't steal, but also the subtle. Don't take credit that belongs to someone else. Don't take more than your share. Don't take someone's time when they have not freely given it. Don't take advantage. And sexual misconduct in the Buddhist sense is essentially don't use sexuality to harm people. Don't betray trust. Don't coerce. Don't pretend feelings you don't have to get something. Be honest. Be careful with each other. We're all carrying tender things. Right livelihood. This is the one people sometimes find uncomfortable because it asks about your job. How are you making your money? The classical no-go list includes dealing in weapons, dealing in living beings like slavery and human trafficking, dealing in poison, dealing in intoxicants meant to harm. The Buddha is saying if your daily income depends on harming other beings, no amount of evening meditation is going to clean that up. Now, very few of us are slave traders, but most modern jobs sit in a gray zone. And I'm not going to tell you to quit your job. That's not my place. What I will say is ask the question. Be willing to ask the question. Is the way I earn my living causing harm to people, to animals, to the planet, to my own integrity? Can I do anything about that, even a little, even slowly? Sometimes the answer is to change jobs. More often, the answer is to do the same job differently, to stop cutting that one corner, to stop lying about that one thing, to do the work in a way you can stand behind when you're alone at the end of the day. And that's the ethics group: speech, action, livelihood, what comes out of your mouth, what your body does, and how you make your bread. The mental training group: effort, mindfulness, and concentration. The last 3 factors are about the training of the mind itself, and this is the part of the path that most resembles what people think of when they hear the word meditation, though it is much broader than just sitting on a cushion. Right? Effort in the Buddhist sense is not the white knuckle striving most of us learned in school. It's not gritting your teeth and forcing the mind to behave. The Buddha actually warned against that. He tried it for 6 years before he taught the Eightfold Path, and he nearly killed himself doing it. Right effort is more like tending a garden. It has 4 parts. Prevent the unwholesome states that haven't arisen yet. Let go of the unwholesome states that have arisen. Cultivate the wholesome states that haven't arisen yet. And strengthen the wholesome states that have arisen. In plain English, notice what's growing in the mind, pull the weeds, and water the good plants. That's it. Practically, this means when you notice you are starting to spiral into a familiar dark mood, gently turn the mind towards something nourishing. Not to suppress, not to deny, but to redirect. When you notice a moment of kindness, of gratitude, of clarity, pause and really feel it. Let it soak in. Don't blow past it. That's gardening. My teacher used to say, what you feed grows, what you starve dies. So watch what you feed. I think about that every day. Right mindfulness, sati in Pali, probably the most famous word in modern Buddhism because of how heavily It's been borrowed by the wellness industry, mindfulness apps, mindfulness in schools, mindfulness for productivity. And honestly, that's fine. Some mindfulness is better than none, but yeah, the original article is bigger than what's been packaged, right? Mindfulness is the capacity to be actually here in this moment, in this body, knowing what is happening as it happens, not narrating it, not judging it, not improving it, just knowing it. The classical instruction is the 4 foundations of mindfulness: mindfulness of body, of feeling, of mind states, and of mental contents. We'll do an episode on each of these eventually. For today, the entry point is the body, because the body is always here. The mind is in next Tuesday. The body is here. So a basic mindfulness practice, and I mean basic, you can start today, is to take 3 breaths 3 times a day where you do nothing but feel the breath, not control it, not deepen it, just feel it. In, out, in, out, in, out. 3 breaths 3 times a day. You will be amazed how many things in your life will start to soften when you've done that for a month. And if you can sit for 10 minutes a day, informal practice, beautiful. If you can't, those 3 breaths 3 times count. Don't let perfect be the enemy of present. Right concentration, samadhi. This is the capacity of the mind to settle, to unify, to stop bouncing around like a hummingbird on espresso. When you start meditating, you notice immediately that the mind does not want to stay anywhere. You sit down to follow the breath, and within 4 seconds, the mind is in a meeting you have on Thursday. You bring it back. It goes somewhere else. You bring it back. It checks if you locked the front door. You bring it back. That bringing back, by the way, is the practice, not the staying, the returning. Every time you return, you are training a muscle. That muscle is called concentration. And over weeks and months and years of training, the mind starts to be able to stay, not because you forced it, because you patiently, kindly brought it back 10,000 times. A concentrated mind is not a tense mind. This is important. A concentrated mind is more like, imagine a glass of water that has been shaken up. All the silt is swirling around. You can't see through it. Now imagine setting that glass down and just letting it be still. The silt settles, the water clears. You can see all the way to the bottom. That's concentration. The mind settling, the silt of constant agitation drifting down, and suddenly you can see. You can see your own intentions. You can see what's actually driving your reactions. You can see the people in your life as they actually are, not as your projections of them. Concentration is what makes wisdom possible. Without it, even good ideas just bounce off. And that's the mental training group. Effort, mindfulness, concentration. Gardening the mind, being here, and settling. How the wheel turns. Okay, 8 factors, 3 groups. Now the question, where do you start? Honestly, you can start anywhere. The Buddha was very clear about this. He didn't say, get your view perfect, then move to ethics, then meditate. He said all 8 support each other. So pick the one that's nagging at you, the one that, while listening to this, you got a little uncomfortable about. That's probably your starting point. But if you want my opinion, and you're listening to a podcast, so I assume you do, I would say start with right speech. Here's why. Speech is the bridge between the inner and the outer. It's where your mind becomes the world. Most people overlook it because it seems trivial, but every time you tell the truth when it would be easier to lie, you strengthen your view, your intention, your mindfulness, and your concentration all at once. You can't lie skillfully without splitting your attention. Half of you is constructing the lie, half of you is tracking who knows what, half of you is bracing for being caught. You don't have 3 halves, so you fragment, and a fragmented mind cannot rest. Conversely, and this is the gift, every act of true, kind, necessary speech unifies you. You walk away feeling lighter, whole, done. So if you want a single experiment this week, try this 3 questions before speaking. Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? If not, silence just for a week. Watch what changes. Now, once you've got that little practice going, you'll start to notice the wheel beginning to turn. Right speech makes right mindfulness easier because you've added a pause before words. Right mindfulness makes right effort easier because you can now see the mood arising before it grabs you. Right effort makes right concentration easier because you're feeding the wholesome rather than the agitated. And on it goes. One spoke supports the next. This is why the tradition has lasted 2,600 years, because the path is not a thing you finish. It's a wheel that, once you give it a push, keeps turning, mostly on its own, in the direction of less suffering. Let me leave you with one image and then we'll close. A student once came to a teacher and said, "Master, I have been practicing for 30 years and I am no closer to enlightenment than when I began. Tell me, what is enlightenment?" The teacher said, "Have you eaten breakfast?" And the student said, "Yes." The teacher said, "Then wash your bowl." That's the path. Eat breakfast, wash your bowl, speak kindly to the person at the counter. Don't say the thing you were about to say behind your friend's back. And take 3 breaths before you reply to the email. Notice the trees on your walk. Apologize when you should. Forgive when you can. Wash your bowl. Enlightenment, the Buddha is saying, is not somewhere else. The path is not the road to somewhere. The path is the way of walking. Walked well. This ordinary day, this body, this mind is already the destination. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this was useful, please share it with someone you love. Subscribe so we don't lose each other. Next time we'll go deep on right view specifically because it deserves its own episode, and it's where everything else starts to make sense. And as is traditional, may whatever benefit has come from this teaching ripple out to you, to those you love, to those who challenge you, to the people you'll never meet, to all beings everywhere. May you be well, may you be safe, may you be at ease, and wash your bowl.